I built this house originally made in the Roblox game Welcome to Bloxburg in The Sims 4. Now, spoiler alert, since you're seeing this video, I did build them in both games. So, we're going to start off with the original house from Welcome to Bloxburg that I made years ago, way before I made the houses in The Sims 4. And the reason for that is because I just started playing The Sims 4 a couple years ago. And when I started playing The Sims 4, I was not good at building at all. Do I think I'm better now? Yeah. Am I that much better? I guess you'll see. Well, anyways, when I started building The Sims 4, I was not good at it at all. I would build houses that just looked like boxes. That's all they were, with a roof on it. And the roof didn't look that good because it was literally a box. So everything was kind of just not great. And I was still, getting the hang of the building thing. And then I kind of realized when I was trying to build stuff, and then I really like using reference photos for when I'm building in any game. Like Welcome to Bloxburg, I did for this house actually. And I think I even tried to the first time when I was first starting building in The Sims, and it just was not working for me because it's really hard for me to get layouts of the inside. So then I thought, what if I just take a house that I've already built in another game that has a grid system that's pretty similar to The Sims 4 and just build it there? Why don't I just try and do that? So then that's what I did. And I learned a lot about building in The Sims by doing that. And I think it really helped me just understand building in general in the game and get more familiar with the items in the game, like the keyboard shortcuts for certain things, like putting paint on all the walls. Just so many things. It really helped me out a lot. That's why I built the houses anyway, was for that reason, and now I get to show them all to you. So now, while we're here in the Bloxburg house, I'll talk about a couple things that maybe are a little strange about the house, or little things that at least I used to do in Bloxburg houses that I don't know if it's still a thing because I don't build in Bloxburg anymore. It's just I don't play the game as often anymore. So things like putting your food items in the cabinets and placing them. Like you'd take the apples that you bought from the store and you'd actually put them in the cabinet. That would take painstakingly long, but it just looks so satisfying. In this house in particular, I did not do that. I didn't have the shelving for it, but I do have a different house where I do have that out. I don't know if that's still a thing. Another thing that I used to do was the shower thing, which all that was a curtain over, it was an open window with no glass, and then it was a curtain that you could open and shut. Because I don't know if it was just a thing or a weird thing I did. Instead of just having a glass shower door, I had a curtain, or if I was just used to having curtained showers, so that's what I did to make a makeshift curtain. I don't know. And I'm sure you might have noticed, even though this was a very fast thing, because apparently when I was making this video, I did not think about me having to edit it. But there were a couple things in this build that are things that I just did not add. And you may have noticed, but maybe not. But now, we're going to take a look at the first Sims build, which is this. It's something. And I said first, you did hear me right, the first Sims build. There are 3 houses in this video. We have seen one, we're on to the second one. This is the Sims house that I built when I first started playing the game back in June of 2022. I don't think I built it in June, but that's when I first started playing. And this house, I was very proud of it at the time. Very, very proud. Um, Not so proud of it at this moment, but it still got me to where I am right now. So, I'm happy with it. And I think I got kind of the point across. Because my goal was to, yes, build the house, but the problem is when you're building something in two different games, they don't have the same items. They're not going to. And even if they have items that really look like, oh, this item looks a lot like the couch that I used right here. Even if it has that, some of those items that, yeah, they looked like, oh, that item would have been much better than the chairs I used, you know? Yes, they might have been a better fit for the actual chair, but for the overall look of the kitchen or dining room, it just didn't fit as well to me, right? So that was kind of the thought process I had going in. Yes, I want to try and make it as accurate as possible to the original, but I'm going to have to change some things because they're two different games at the end of the day, you know? So I'm going to have to pick and choose what I want to do. And I ultimately, I think for the most part, chose to just do what fit the vibe that I was going for with the house. And I think I accomplished that a bit. Although looking at this house, I don't know. After, again, seeing the other one, this I don't think fits the vibe nearly as well as the other one. I mean, not to spoil what's coming ahead, but I did change some things. Like, it's not the same, but there are some rooms that are mostly the same. A lot of stuff, it's just like a revamp of the house, if that makes sense. And kind of just shows how much I've changed, I guess, building. That's why I'm showing you this one in the first place, is because I wanted to see the difference of what it looked like before and after, and the things I changed, the things I added, things like that, along with the things that are different between the original Bloxburg house and these ones in The Sims. Seeing these windows is painful to my eyes. But yeah, this is the house. Now, we're gonna see the new one. There's this one, which I just love this one over all of the other ones, even the Bloxburg one. I mean, one of the main things you might notice right away, at least for me, is the color pop of the roof and the fence. I think that color change was such a good choice on my part, not to pat myself on the back, but I just love that so much more because it just pops a little bit more and it adds to the build itself. And I think it helps with the windows to have all of those trim pieces just be black and cohesive. It just fits so nice and I just love it. The other thing that is majorly different than any of the other ones, not just the other Sims one, is the terrain. And what I mean by that is the all those little bushes and the trees that are placed, like the tree we're going by right now. That's all stuff that I never did, and I mean never did in Welcome to Bloxburg. And I feel like that's kind of why I didn't do it in The Sims when I first started, because I never knew how. I never knew how to make it look right. That was another thing, I guess, that I really struggled with in Bloxburg was the trees and all the plants. I saw all these people do it and I was just like, how do you make it look good? I cannot do that. Like, I could maybe place a tree, but I always felt like it looked weird, so I just didn't. Now, there's something here that you might notice right away. Maybe not. There is a wall that is not painted to the right wall paint. See, right there? It's not right. I realized that after, as I was editing, and we're just gonna skip right over that. I have since fixed the build, so that is not in there anymore. But I thought I should acknowledge it. Yeah, I could have sworn I checked all the walls, but apparently I didn't. Not enough, but oh well. Yeah, you can see it really well right there. But yeah, this is another, I think this is a good angle for the greenery right in the front. One thing that I felt like affected my decision making when choosing things to use in the build, both times in The Sims, was the packs that I recently got. Now, when I first played The Sims, I started with none, of course, at the beginning, but then I got some because they were on sale and they were in these bundles, and there's so many to choose from. You gotta get some, right? Well, that's what I did. And I was having so much fun. Why not get seasons? I mean, I want seasons, sure. So I got seasons, and I think you can tell if you are a Sims player that has a lot of packs, or maybe just a couple, and you have seasons. You may have noticed those are the windows that I used in the previous Sims build. The original Sims was the seasons windows. And I really love those windows. I do. But I just don't think they fit this house the way that I had hoped at the time, or thought they did at the time. I definitely think these full glass pane windows from ceiling to floor are much better. I also think it just fits the house more. If you look at the Bloxburg house, I think it just looks more like the windows that Bloxburg had. Or has, I guess. It still exists. But I don't know why I didn't choose it. Logically, these windows that I used are base game windows. So it's not like, oh, I got a pack recently and I used them. No, I actually just didn't choose them. And I think it was partially because, oh, I got seasons. I need to use the items in this pack. And I see myself do that a lot. And I did do that in this build. Like that thing right there, that activity table for kids, is something from my first pet stuff. I know, for my first Sims video, I probably shouldn't talk about my first pet stuff, but it needs to be mentioned. Unfortunately, I know, I'm sorry. But I used some stuff from that pack in this build because I had just gotten it. It was free at the time. So I grabbed it because I do have cats and dogs. So I was like, okay. So you might see some things from my first pet stuff, the pack that should not be named, but I named it multiple times, throughout the house, because there were so many things that I didn't know what to do with. Like so many places in the build that just felt empty, but then just putting a plant there felt weird. At least for me, I don't know. Other people do it and I think, oh, that looks great. But then I do it and I'm like, that looks so weird. I don't know if I'm just being extra judgmental to myself or what, but that's just how it is. So I just decided why don't I just add some pet stuff to this house and, make it a house where a family could have, and they could also have pets, and, that'd be really fun. Then I could also add a litter box to the bathroom downstairs and, do all these things it would take up space, but also be functional. And I love having pets in my gameplay, so it just felt like a good way to use the space and fill up those spaces that I felt like other things wouldn't work. Another thing that is very different from the Bloxburg house and maybe even the original Sims house is this one has curtains and rugs scattered all over. Multiple rugs in one room, like this room has 3. And I don't know why I did that necessarily. Again, I built that years ago. But it probably was. I didn't know where and when to use a rug and when was too much. When was it, oh, this is a good spot for it, for the most part. So I just didn't do it. Just like the landscaping, I would have never done something like this in Bloxburg. Never. I don't even think I would have tried to attempt it. Even if I did, it wouldn't have stayed on my lot. So I just didn't branch out very much because I just didn't know what I was doing, I guess. So I just never tried to maybe give it another shot. Or I didn't know how to teach myself how to do it yet. I didn't know what worked for me. And I think The Sims just gave me that. It has all the tools, it has all the things. It was just much easier for me to learn than Bloxburg ever was. And that's okay. And I'm very happy with how that original house turned out and how the Sims one turned out. But I can tell that I've built a lot better in The Sims 4 in this short period than I ever did in Bloxburg. And that will lead us to the end of this video. Thanks for tuning in. While you're here, if you want to get the house on the gallery on The Sims, if you're a Sims player, I do have it up. I will put the thing up here. My name on the gallery is just Cats for Life Gaming, same as on here. If you want to come download this house, the one that's on the screen, this one, not the other one. I'm not going to be putting that one up. Thank you again for stopping by the channel, and I will see you around. Bye.